Fellas, we're looking at one of the saddest, most depressing video I think we've ever had to make. Many of our high damage dealing perks, including some pinnacle weapons, got some major nerfs in Shadowkeep Sandbox. Now, of course, there are some weapons that avoided it and actually came out more on top, most notably something like Huckleberry, which we reviewed last night. But today, guys, we're just going to be popping up a bunch of numerical values, comparing things like Rampage, MultiKill Clip, Swashbuckler, all those things essentially to the previous Sandbox numbers and values to our current numbers and values. So there's really no way to get around this, guys. It will be pretty depressing for the most part, with hopefully a light at the end of the tunnel, because I do want to bring up a weapon that has actually avoided some of this and not just Huckleberry. So yeah, we'll get into that. First up though, let's hit these numbers. Rampage goes up by 10% at stacks of 1, 21% at stacks of 2, and 33% at stacks of 3. Essentially the same thing that it does inside of PvP. It used to be at 1 stack it gave 20% buff, 2 stacks it gave 41%, and 3 stack it gave 66%. Essentially what Huckleberry is now. It avoided the Rampage nerf, but just know every weapon that you have that has Rampage on it caps out at 33%, which is a hell of a lot less than 66%. Did I mention you're gonna get a little depressed here? Alright, it gets worse. MultiKill Clip. MultiKill Clip is actually a pretty unique perk because it can refresh on itself. So if you got like a stack of MultiKill Clip of 1, you get a couple kills, it now procs 2, procs 3 if you get 3 kills, so on and so forth. Not really going over the pros and cons of MultiKill Clip, but at stacks of 1, it jumps up 17%, at stacks of 2, it jumps up 33%, and at stacks of 3, it jumps up 50%. Now that may sound nice. It used to jump up at stacks of 3 to 100%. Again, another scenario similar to Rampage. Our damage here essentially has been cut in half with these perks. Now, before somebody jumps up and says, hey, whoa, Cross, everything's been balanced, bro. We needed to give other perks more viability. And I'm gonna ask you, what other perks are you referring to? No, really, let's back up here. I know we're getting off subject here. We're getting off the beaten path. But what other perks are you referring to? Is there like a perk you're married up to and you're like, God, dog, I need this perk to be used more in life? Hipfire Grip, huh? You need that more in your life? Genesis? Shield Disorient? I'm not saying that those perks aren't good. If you want to use them, use them. Maybe on some weapons you can get some benefit out of them. Even with the nerfs that you're seeing here in front of you, and I know I'm ranting right now, even with these nerfs, you're still probably going to use Rampage, MultiKill Clip, Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, everything that deals extra damage. Okay, I'm done. Let's move on. Swashbuckler. I'm cool. Swashbuckler. At stacks of 1, it does 7% more damage. At stacks of 2, 13% more damage. Stacks of 3, 20% more damage. At 4, 27%. And then it caps out at 33%. Now, of course, the advantage of Swashbuckler over something like Rampage is a simple melee hit on an enemy, procs ×5 Swashbuckler. Super beneficial even in something like PvP. And these are the same values inside of PvP as well. The issue is, again, another scenario here where Swashbuckler used to give us somewhere around 66% at ×5. We just kind of went in here and started slashing everything in half. But that's whatever, because the Billinxin crew that I see all the time in my YouTube comments enjoys half the fun, right? Like every time I go to a party, I pour out half the beer. Don't even take a sip yet, but I pour out half that bitch. And some of you are saying, wow, that sounds ridiculous, Cross. What'd that beer do to you? What did Kill Clip do to you is the real question. What did Swashbuckler do to you? At what point inside of PvE were you using a weapon with Rampage at stacks of 3 did you go, oh damn, this is just too much. Bungie, nerf this shit in my hands before I decimate the universe. Okay, let's move on. What's the next one? Kill Clip. Kill Clip goes up by 33%. Used to be, I think, what, 66% inside of PvE? Yeah, maybe it's 50%. I can't remember. Just know it's nerfed too. I don't have a previous value on Kill Clip. But now this takes us to the other, even more depressing side of this video. Breakneck with the perk Onslaught. Listen, Breakneck wasn't just killed in this sandbox, it was fucking murdered. I'm not messing with you guys. This is no joke. Breakneck was demolished. Why it was demolished in this way and fashion, I have no idea. Currently, right now, the perk Onslaught, which is like a pseudo perk of Rampage, but also increases your rate of fire with each stack of Rampage, is actually a pretty nice perk. We reviewed it in the past, and the rate of fire starts off at a default 450 rounds per minute. It goes up to 600 at stacks of 1. It still stays at about 600 rounds per minute at stacks of 2, and then jumps up to a whopping 720 rounds per minute. Now, inside of PvP, the way it worked is it did its base damage values of our normal 450 auto rifle, but the moment you proc Onslaught, that damage did not remain the same. It actually dropped off because now it's shooting at 600 rounds per minute. But then that damage equalizes at 2 stacks of Onslaught, and then the damage stays the same at 3 stacks, but now shoots at 720 rounds per minute. We've brought it up in the past that even though we're not in an auto rifle meta, breakneck could have potentially brought us there had they allowed Onslaught to do the appropriate amount of damage that a 450 round per minute auto should be doing at stacks of Rampage. But that was okay, because in PvE, it previously used to go up by 9% damage with 1 stack of Onslaught, 20% damage at 2 stacks, and 43% damage at 3 stacks. It gave it a fighting chance. Now this poor bastard drops -1% at 1 stack, -2% at 2 stacks, and -4% at 3 stacks. At what point in this sandbox or the last did anyone ever shoot a breakneck and thought, oh my god, this is gonna kill the game? Fuck Recluse, breakneck is destroying the PvE meta. Whatever will we do if this bastard isn't nerfed? This weapon is absolutely demolished, and this is not supposed to be a breakneck review, but when I saw these damage values yesterday, I'm appalled. Listen, there's not much that appalls me. I watch the news, but that doesn't faze me. When I see a breakneck get nerfed in this way, I'm appalled. There's no other way around it. It was fucking murder. Okay, this takes us to the next pinnacle weapon, which also was murdered, but maybe not as bad, but still pretty bad. Redrix with Desperado. Now, Desperado previously would actually retain the same damage, but of course, Desperado increases your rate of fire after you reload while Outlaw is active. Now, this increase in rate of fire is all the way to 540 rounds per minute. It is quite fast, and the ability to consistently do the same damage, even after Desperado was procced, kinda gave Redrix somewhat of a fighting chance, but I can be honest with you, who the hell used Redrix inside of PvE? I made a video on a god roll PvE roll for Redrix. Nobody watched that bitch. You know why? Nobody wants to use Redrix in PvE. But Bungie still went and slapped on a nerf when Desperado was procced, essentially dropping the damage here of this weapon by 20% for both its crit and body shot values. Now, maybe somebody out there was using Redrix, and I like to believe Bungie just kind of in the sky like God at times, right? And they're just watching the game, they're watching things unfold, and they see some guy out there, and he's just melting thrall. And they're like, God damn, what's he using? Oh, is that Redrix? Oh, well, look at this smarty uppity fucker. He's using Redrix broadsword inside of PvE? Not anymore. That's essentially the equivalent of what happened here, okay? Desperado, 20% nerf. If you thought about using it, you can still use it. But just know, you are at a 20% disadvantage. And some of you are like, hey, I openly accept a 20% disadvantage. Really? Is that how you treat life? I'm not trying to get personal with you. But if you're about to go to business time with your lady, do you want to whisper in her ear, hey, baby, I'm down 20%? No! And if you do, well, we got deeper problems, okay? We're not getting into that. This is a gaming channel. Okay, moving on. Master of Arms, which is found on Recluse. So, Master of Arms actually bumps up our damage by 21% per crit and a whopping 92% on body. I think previously it would bump it up by 100% per body. I don't even have pre-Recluse numbers. Here's the thing. Recluse is so overused in every facet of the game that I just don't care. I don't care. It's whatever. I've accepted it. Recluse and Master of Arms is still good, all right? It's still very much one of the best energy weapons you can use. Okay, this takes us now to Surrounded. I forgot to include this in our other perks, but Surrounded actually got a nerf in precision damage. Not sure what the hell that's about. Previously, and now this was with Surrounded and Surrounded spec, your crit damage would jump up 62% and your body shot damage would jump up 40%. Now, Surrounded by itself, and I don't have a Surrounded spec mod, but essentially, damage here is consistent. It does 30% on crit damage when Surrounded is procced and 30% on body shot. What they wanted to do was equalize the benefits for both crit and body shot here. Okay, so for that guy that actually says, hey, I want to take the time and hit crits in this heated situation where thralls are literally all over my nutsack, I want to take the time to actually aim and shoot them in the head. Now Bungie's like, hey, you don't even gotta worry about that because you're just gonna get a 30% buff or 40% or whatever the hell the real value is, whether you shoot them in the face or shoot them in the foot. It doesn't matter. God forbid if you ever actually take the time to land some crits. Okay, that's our review. We really lost our shit in this one, okay? I was really hoping to just go in here and give you some damage values, and then that'd be it. I'm not at all passionate about Sandbox. That's not my thing, okay? Yo, but really though, fellas and ladies, hey, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.